Hello and welcome to Point of View, the show that decodes the region. On a day when Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma assumes charge as the Chief Minister of Assam for the second term, with his party, the BJP, having swept the elections, winning 82 seats on its own in the 126-member State Assembly, getting absolute majority, and two of its alliance partners, the Ahom Gana Parishad and the Bodoland People's Front, winning 10 seats each, meaning the NDA alliance led by the BJP has won 102 seats in the 126-member assembly, having absolutely swept the opposition off the political radar in the state, so much so that the opposition does not even have the numbers to claim the status of the leader of the opposition in the state assembly. I have got a very esteemed panel tonight. I have got with me Lieutenant General retired Rana Pratap Kalita, former GOC INC Eastern Command, now a very well-known commentator. I have with me Colonel retired Dibya Bhattacharya, who is a political analyst. Professor Sandan Sharma from the Department of History, Guwahati University, and a commentator is with me. Dr. Rajiv Handik, Professor, Department of History, is joining me from Guwahati University. I have with me Professor Vikas Tripathi of the Department of Political Science, Guwahati University, and a leading sophologist and political commentator. And of course with me is Avinav Barbara, a very well-known commentator. Gentlemen, welcome to Point of View. We will talk about today's swearing in. We'll talk about the composition, what the Himanta Biswa Sharma 2.0 means, what can he do, what are his challenges. All these things we'll try and seek answers from our esteemed panelists during the course of the next 1 hour. But first of all, let me come to you, General Kalita. General Kalita, you know, it will be not incorrect to say that almost the entire top brass of the country, starting from the Prime Minister, the Union Home Minister, Defense Minister, and several top cabinet ministers of the Union government, 22 chief ministers, diplomats, including the US ambassador in India, not to speak of India Inc., where the top business leaders like Sajjan Jindal, Jeeta Dani, and others were present. There was a time yesterday night in the evening and even this morning where one chartered aircraft was landing every 10 to 15 minutes at the Borjhar airport. Now, General Kalita, what is the broad message that, what does it mean? So many people landing up to just participate in the swearing in ceremony of the Assam Chief Minister, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma. What is the broad message?
See, Wasbir, firstly, thank you for having me in this show today.
Welcome.
We have seen the massive turnout of the heavyweight people in the political field, as well as industrialists, embassies and others, and a lot of people from Assam, of course, were there. So this basically signifies two things to me. One is the strategic importance of Assam to the central government, to the NDA government at the center, to the Prime Minister. We have seen how many times the Prime Minister and the other ministers, central ministers, have visited Assam and Northeast. So the focus is on the strategic importance of Northeast in general and of Assam in particular, because Assam is likely to be the economic hub of the entire Northeast. It is the fulcrum based on which your Act East policy has to be implemented. Your BBN has to be implemented.
Yeah.
Your all our trade and other connectivity issues with the Southeast Asian countries. For overall development of Northeast, Assam has to act as the economic hub. So that is what is the strategic importance. That's the first point I would like to bring out.
Right.
And the second point, important point, is stature of Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma as a leader within BJP and within NDA. I think it also sends that message that what stature is accorded to Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, our Honorable Chief Minister, by the BJP, NDA, as also the entire nation, which includes all the industrialists, all the embassy people, and all the different strata of people where they are present today to encourage the NDA 2.0 at in Assam.
Right. Okay, let me come to Professor Vikas Tripathi. Professor Vikas Tripathi, we understand, as the General said, the importance of Assam strategically and the stature of Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma. Well, when the entire top brass, again led by the Prime Minister, was present during the swearing in of Subhendu Adhikari in West Bengal at night, it was understandable because the BJP was trying to oust the TMC for a long time. BJP was trying to come to power, rest West Bengal for a long time. It took them 15 years to oust the Trinamool Congress. So it was a massive feat, it was a massive victory, therefore everybody landed up. But what about Assam? The BJP has been in power 2 times before, this was the 3rd consecutive victory, and yet we see all the top brass, all the top leaders led by the Prime Minister was in Guwahati to actually participate and cheer the work of that Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma had done.
So I think the presence was to signal a readiness for major political and strategic reforms, as rightly highlighted by General Kolita. And you must understand the stature that the present Chief Minister of Assam occupy, and his pivotal role in making Assam the gateway for electoral expansion of BJP in rest of the states of Northeast India. So, in major way, I think the presence of chief ministers from this region signifies the willingness to revive Northeastern Democratic Alliance once again, because to make a cohesive whole, if you wish to unleash major political reforms in the region, then you need to bring together all the political leadership from all the states of Northeast India, and in that sense, this was a messaging, this was an assurance for major strategic and political reforms, because 21 to 26 was about governance, 26 to 31 may be about long-term structural reforms for which Assam and HBS will be playing the lead role.
Okay, that we have to wait and watch. That is what Professor Vikas Tripathi says, that 21 to 23 about development and progress, 26 to 31 could be about long-term structural reforms. I'll come to all of the panelists, but quickly let me go to Dr. Rajiv Hendig. Dr. Rajiv Hendig, if I ask you, we have seen Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma has always been a workaholic. That is not news, we know that. Now the point is, obviously the victory which the BJP achieved under his rule, 82 seats the BJP on its own, absolute majority, and 20 from the alliance partners, 102. Now my question is, obviously the people saw something. People saw development, people saw progress, people saw a security in their identity and culture. Those could be the only reason why people voted almost lock, stock and barrel for Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma and the NDA. Now my question is, what is going to be his challenge during the next 5 years? What could be his challenge in the next 5 years, or do you think he has challenge at all?
Definitely there are challenges, and as Professor Tripathi has said, he is right in the sense that this will be a very crucial term in the sense that so far consolidation has taken place, development has made quite a lot of strides, to the extent that it is the third largest, fastest growing economy in the entire country.
Yes.
So that's a big achievement. But then taking it forward in a sustainable way and taking care of, because I come from from the education scenario, the gross enrollment ratio is very, very low. Though in spite of the fact that the government has been doing quite a lot, it has opened at least 10 universities in their last few 10 years, if not more. So the number of universities have increased, number of institutes have increased, but then this gross enrollment ratio, because we figure amongst the from the lower side actually, so that's not a very rosy scenario.
Right.
Having said that, I think what needs to be done is also to relook at some of the schemes which have been given, and maybe the schemes which are given, or the money, the scholarships which are given, the fee waiver schemes, I think those needs to be relooked at.
Okay. Okay,
during this term.
those needs to be relooked at. Colonel, I'm just getting the opening remarks from everybody before taking this discussion forward. Colonel Divya Bhattacharya, what do you think Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma could do? What could be his priorities according to you? What is your guess? Because in the first tenure we saw a massive construction to remove traffic bottlenecks all across the major towns and cities in Assam. We saw flyovers in district towns as well, whether it is in Tezpur, whether it is in Jorhat, whether it is in Dibrugarh, not to speak of the capital city Guwahati. There's a ring road been built, bridges over the Brahmaputra, and a plan to set up and advantage Assam. So this was his priority as far as this particular term which has just ended. He has now embarked on a new tenure of 5 years. So what could be his focus according to you?
First of all, these are very exciting times, an exciting time to be in Assam. Because firstly, if you see, as far as the elections is concerned, there has been an unprecedented turnout followed by an unprecedented show of faith in Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma. And now the onus has fallen on him to take the process of development and the faith which the public has bestowed on him forward. Therefore, I think that the major issues which will come up, I would think that first would be the issue of infiltration.
Right.
The point is that till now, Assam and Tripura was under the BJP government. However, people were entering through West Bengal and coming to these two states.
Right.
Therefore, now that all friendly states, friendly governments are there, I think the border sealing will take priority, especially with the border fencing now coming up and land being transferred to the BSF.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We will stop here at this moment. I will go to Professor Chandan Sharma before coming to Avinash Barbara. Before coming to Professor Chandan Sharma, let me tell you that a short while ago, actually, I had an exclusive interview with the West Bengal's new Chief Minister, Suvendu Adhikari, and he said that exactly the same thing as Colonel Divya Bhattacharya was saying. He said that Assam and Tripura had taken measures to stop the infiltration of foreign nationals, but they were coming in from West Bengal. They were making their Aadhaar cards and all other documents, and they were then going into all these states. So from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, he said that this was a threat. This was a national security threat. So we will expand on that a short while later. But Professor Chandan Sharma, let me hear from you. He said that one of his major focus areas will be to check infiltration, which has been a live issue for decades now. What do you think could be Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma's focus in his new tenure, and what could be his challenges?
I think it's already being well said that this marks the inching forward of Himanta Biswa Sharma as a national leader. The first thing is that if we compare it with the Congress regime, even respected leader like 3 times Chief Minister, Torun Gogoi was termed as a regional satrap. So somehow this idea that state Chief Ministers can become national leaders, I think this is a new strategy done by the BJP government at the center, and that's why I think it's a very important signal. You might be in Guwahati, but you are a national leader. Right. And that's why you see that 22 Chief Ministers, nearly all the important cabinet ministers in Assam, including the Ambassador of America. So I think these are very important signals of a new calibrated design by the BJP. Number 2, one particular important point is, as is being said, that the next term should be a term for consolidation. Perhaps he said that one of his important mission is to change the rural economy, because he said it's troubling to see the rural migration from Assam to different parts of South India for some small wages. So perhaps this particular regime should be focused on how to revitalize the rural economy so that there can be new growth which can be percolated down to the village level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Avinav, it's a very interesting thing that Professor Chandan Sharma said, that it could be part of an overall strategy, recalibration of the focus, that Delhi cannot be the only power center, and power is actually decentralized, where a regional leader is actually seen as a national leader, and that is the reason why 22 chief ministers and the top cabinet ministers led by the Prime Minister were in attendance to participate in the swearing in of a particular chief minister. Bengal is different because you have won Bengal after so many years. That's a different story. But Assam.
See, when we see the presence of the entire national leadership as well as a plethora of chief ministers coming for the swearing in of a state government of Assam, I think the point that you are saying is valid, but we'll also have to understand that for the BJP again, this victory carries enormous significance, because by winning for the third consecutive time, the BJP in Assam has actually set a new record, whereby in a way it has also become a jewel in the crown in BJP's political history. Because if you look at it, Assam is only the fifth state where the BJP has actually managed to win 3 times in a consecutive row. So with this, what has happened is that Assam as a BJP ruled state has joined traditional strongholds like Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh and states like that. So for BJP's politics as well, which at one time was concentrated in the North Indian Hindi heartland, expansion into Assam in 2016 and 2026 victory marks the culmination of the consolidation of BJP's politics in eastern India. Therefore, in a way, it carries a lot of symbolism, and that is why we see the presence of this entire barrage of leaders this time.
Absolutely. Let me go to General Kalita with a different perspective. We need a different perspective from him. As I think Colonel Dibba Bhattacharya said that infiltration could be the one of the main focus. Now, point is, we have to see the victory of the BJP in West Bengal and Assam together. If we have to understand the security dynamics, who knows it better than you? Now, the point is, even as the result of West Bengal was out, there was this Jamaat-e Islami leader in Bangladesh, a man by the name of Duke Huda. He has appealed to the previous government in Bangladesh, addressed the previous government in Bangladesh, said that, oh, we should start a war against New Delhi, you should declare, West Bengal should declare independence, we 17 crore people are with you. Now, this is the dynamics. Now, all the Jamaat-e Islami leaders, 68 of them who won the elections in Bangladesh in last February, majority of them were elected from constituencies in Bangladesh which shared a border with West Bengal. Now, here, one of the first decisions that the Subhendu Adhikari government took yesterday was to hand over land to the BSF to erect the barbed wire fence. Now, Himanta Biswa Sharma here, again, he made it very, very clear. He has not said much, not said anything right now today, but he had said until 2-3 days ago that the influx has to be stopped and all those illegal Bangladeshi migrants have to go. And do you think there is a security issue which has just been to some extent resolved with the coming to power of the BJP in Bengal and consolidation of the BJP in Assam, considering their anti-infiltration stance?
See, there is definitely a security dimension to the whole context, what you are mentioning, whether with both West Bengal having been won by the BJP, the first time BJP has won the elections in West Bengal. And we know the demographic changes that have taken place in West Bengal, which has been continuing for such a long time, which up to some extent has been arrested in Tripura and Assam after the NDA governments came into power. And there has been strong measures which has been taken to stop migration, infiltration across the India-Bangladesh border through Tripura and Assam. However, that thing was continuing through West Bengal, and we also are familiar with the anti-India stance that has been taken by particularly the Jamaat leaders in Bangladesh, within Bangladesh, as also previously when the caretaker government under Professor Yunus was in power. So that time there were a lot of statements and anti-India rhetoric being raised by different leadership within Bangladesh. But we see a little bit of thaw in the relationship as far as after the democratically elected government has come into power in Bangladesh. So we have to think of resetting the relationship with Bangladesh, because we cannot change the geography. They will continue to remain our neighbors. So we need to have relook and review the relationship?
Review the relationship with Bangladesh, because we cannot change our neighbors. Now, let me draw the attention of all the panelists to that photograph on the screen. That is Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma hugging Subhendu Adhikari, his West Bengal counterpart. This is a post on X by Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, where he says, bad days for you know who. Bad days for you know who. This is a very cryptic kind of a post, cryptic message there. Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma hugging Subhendu Adhikari, that picture on your screen on the right hand side of your screen, with the caption in the text in that post saying, bad days for you know who. I think there is no prizes for guessing, Vikas Tripathi, no prizes for guessing what these two gentlemen, what Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma is talking about.
Of course, that's very clear. But I want to underline one important fact which I think needs to be mentioned with this image that comes on the screen, and which is the civilizational unity which BJP has been talking about since last decade. And so long there was this perception about linguistic conflict. There was this perception that Assam is a state which is about diversity, and diversity was seen as something which is quite prone to conflict. So this election certainly completes that circle which BJP started in 2014, and I wish to tell one very important factor, that HBS played a very key role in the expansion of BJP into Eastern Corridor, not only in West Bengal but also in Odisha. And in both the states, the message, like these cryptic messages, were very clear. In both the states, one thing that HBS communicated was that you should not be afraid of any dominant party system in any state. It's time to it's time to contest the dominance, and we don't talk about Odisha the way BJP took BJD, and HBS played a very significant role, and also in West Bengal.
Let me go to Professor Rajiv Hendik on a different issue. Do you think, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma's massive victory in Assam and the BJP's victory in West Bengal, do you think is going to act as a bridge between the Assamese and the Bengalis? Because Assam, I'm talking about history actually. There is a history, there was a language agitation, there was some kind of conflict between Assamese and Bengalis and so on and so forth. But of course, this was long back. There was no such thing in the recent past though. But there is a history. You cannot wipe out history. Being a historian yourself, you know that. Now, do you think there is a victory of the BJP in West Bengal and a massive victory of the BJP-led NDA in Assam? Do you think that is going to bridge the divide, if any, between West Bengal and Assam, and between the Brahmaputra Valley and the Barak Valley? Of course, Barak Valley has given 9 BJP MLAs. So this is a huge thing. So this is going to unify this Eastern India to a great extent. It is not just Northeast, but now we can include West Bengal as well.
Yeah, it's almost like, a sort of mainstreaming the periphery. So Northeast for a very, very long time was looked as a buffer. There used to be always a security-centric perspective for which development did not take place. And now this is a government, this is a new dispensation that looks at this place as Honorable Prime Minister says, Ostalaxmi. So the engine of growth, development. So, it's a totally new perspective. And what Vikas said is also true, that, integrating and the civilizational linkage amongst all these areas, definitely, it will act as a bridge between the communities. And I think already under the NDA government, from the time of even Sarvananda Sonowal, 2014, the very often quoted the unity between Brahmaputra and Barak, it resonates actually that very sense of, the unifying principle. And this is going beyond the state. So within Assam also, definitely it will have a lot of potential to bridge the old
Absolutely. Professor Chandan Sharma, do you agree with this, that this is going to act as some kind of a bridge and Himanta Biswa Sharma is playing the role of a catalyst in unifying communities there?
That's true. The point is that the way nationalism and ethnicity was defined in Assam and Northeast India till few years back, and now it is being defined after 2016, there is a qualitative and characteristic difference in between the two. So that's why I think the whole idea of a civilization and unity in India, and that there is a possibility of a new kind of a imagination of cooperation with Bengal and Assam. I think that can be a reality. But one particular point is that the main point is that both in Bengal and in Assam, the new generation has completely shifted from vernacular to English medium. Yeah. That's why that particular historical, that bitterness, I think that more or less it ended by 1985. After that, we don't see any bitter confrontation in between all linguistic issues in the last 30 years or last 35 years.
Absolutely. Now, once again, coming back to you, Colonel Dibya Bhattacharya, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, he doesn't mince his words. He talks things bluntly, and he's very, he's sure about what he is doing. Now, some of the reasons that he cited for this massive victory was clearing the hotro lands from encroachers, stopping child marriage. These are some of the social initiatives that he had taken, clearing hotro land, stopping child marriage, so on and so forth. Some of them were very harsh measures, but he said that those measures had to be taken. And so now the point is, do you think he's going to continue with this initiatives? Do you think he's going to focus more on development? Do you think, as Professor Chandan Sharma said, if he has to consolidate, how is he going to consolidate? Because he has got the maximum number of seats. Actually, the BJP contested only 90 seats. 90. They won 82. The strike rate is 91%. Exactly. So what more can he do?
The issue now is that he has to take things forward. And I think at this moment that he will be continuing with whatever he had done, and I think he'll build up on that. Specifically, the steps on child marriage and the evils which are prevalent in certain sections of society, I think he is going to eradicate it completely. Because in these elections, if you see the majority, the massive majority which has come, a significant portion have also come from voters who were traditionally not with the BJP. And in this, I would also include a section of women from the Muslim community, because the measures which Dr. HBS has taken has benefited them. And in certain, like I had a conversation yesterday with one of the candidates who has won from Gwalpara, and he was mentioning that he got a sizable amount of votes from Muslims and specifically Muslim women, and that is because of the policies of Dr. HBS. Second issue is that I think in this we are also coming to some sort of a uniform civil code in the future. Yeah. On the lines of what is prevalent in Uttarakhand, possibly a better version of that. Why I am stating that is that socially, if we have to become a cohesive society, then of course the laws have to be uniform.
Absolutely.
So I think we are moving towards that.
Uniform civil code. We'll have to wait for lunch before going to Avinav Barbara. I'll take a very quick commercial break. I'll be right back. Welcome back direct to Avinav Barbara. Avinav, when journalists asked Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma a few days ago what will be his priorities now that he's going to take over as Chief Minister for the second term, he said that, okay, nothing, we'll have to implement whatever there is in our manifesto. Right. That will be our continuous process. He made things as if it is very extremely simple. Now, I was asking this question right at the start of this discussion. Do you think he's going to prioritize on a few areas? As Chandan said, he's going to prioritize on rural development, could be his priority. Now we see that there is an urbanization going on, and the rural areas, okay, we have got good roads in all the villages of Assam, but the level of progress and development might have to be little more, and we are very weak in our agriculture. We still have single cropping. Do you think some of these areas basics, and do you think instead of giving direct money transfer to beneficiaries, do you think in this term he is going to come up with a strategy where he prepares the ground for people to stand on their own feet? Do you think that? Do you think that could be possible?
See, if we carefully observe Dr. Sharma's first tenure as Chief Minister, we get an idea about the kind of priorities that he set down for himself, and I think we would see him pursuing those priorities in a greater way in the days and years to come. Now, what are those priorities? Let me begin with some things, a few very simple things that he did, some things that people are not talking, analysts are not talking about on the ground, that had found a lot of resonance. What Dr. Sharma did in his first term was that he took a number of steps to actually address a lot of problems that people face while interacting with the bureaucracy on a day-to-day basis. For example, the kind of portals that he had devised for expediting pension files, or for example, the way he had actually helped a lot of people streamline land disputes through Mission Vasundhara. I think he would be again making those piecemeal changes in the bureaucratic procedures, because in a way that found a lot of resonance on the ground, and even it actually improved the kind of public perception about his bureaucracy. So I think that is one direction that he would go on doing more work in the days and years to come. Then again, from the very simple, let's go to the more structural. If you look at what he did right at the beginning of his tenure, he had actually taken up those long-standing vexed border disputes, and we saw that for the first time in so many years. I think when it came to Assam, Meghalaya, it was for the first time after many decades that a chief minister was able to achieve the kind of headway that Dr. Sharma was able to do it.
Yes.
Out of the 12 disputed districts, he managed to resolve conflict in almost 6 districts. When you take the case of Arunachal Pradesh, for the first time, both of the states had actually agreed to have an out of court settlement. But again, for those issues again, there are pending and more vexed problems when it comes to Nagaland and Mizoram. So I think again his priorities would focus to those areas.
Right.
Now, when it comes to investment, again we have a semiconductor advantage. Assam 2.0 had brought in a lot of investments, but if you look at Himanta Biswa Sharma's public pronouncements as well, he wants to go further down the line.
Absolutely, we'll have to wait and watch on that. He has brought the semiconductor, but he wants to go further down. How it happens and translates into reality, we'll have to keep a close watch as far as his second tenure is concerned. Let me go to General Kalita. General Kalita, you know, there is relative peace in Assam now. All of the insurgent groups are almost come to overcome overground, and only big insurgent group left is the Ulfa Independent led by Paresh Barua. Now, this is a security dividend. This is a peace dividend, if I may use the word, that Assam has been enjoying to a great extent in the last couple of years. Now, do you think in this term, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, do you think he should try, or he will try to even bring Ulfa Independent to the negotiating table? Because one group of Ulfa, one faction of the Ulfa led by Aravinda Rajkhwa and Anup Chetia, they have already signed some kind of an agreement with the state. What do you think? Do you think the Ulfa Independent will be willing to come? Because on and off, they still indulge in some kinds of violence.
See, as far as Ulfa is concerned, I think the Honorable CM had already taken steps during his first term as well to bring them into negotiating table. He has been in dialogue with them, and he has been in open forum. He had been requesting Paresh Barua to come into the negotiating table. So that is already there. But I would like to say that, you know, in last 5 years, a lot of insurgency problems have been resolved, and we have signed peace agreements with majority of the groups. But my fear is that we need to consolidate on the peace agreements that has been security or the peace that has been achieved, and we need to ensure that there is no return to insurgency, because unless those surrendered groups or the people who have signed the peace agreements, their aspirations are met, there is always that lurking fear that we may return to that period of 80s or 90s when people may go back into insurgency. So that is a fear which I would like to state. And in that, I would like to state the theory of positive peace and negative peace. That's stated by theorists that negative peace is absence of violence. So if there is no violence, that means we have achieved negative peace.
But that may not be the case.
Yeah, that may not be the case. Now the positive peace is when you have taken off the structural root causes of that violence. So whether we have been able to do that or not, that is something we need to look at. We need to try and achieve positive peace in our state so that there is no return to insurgency period.
Professor Rajiv Hendik, we have seen some amount of development in Assam, but if we have to take it to the next level, as Avinav has also said, if we have to take it to the next level, we have to look at the actist policy. Now, there is so much of trouble in Myanmar, there is so much of trouble in Manipur, that highway, Asian highway, if there is so, people cannot even travel from Guwahati to Imphal. If a Mete cannot travel through Kuki heartland and reach Imphal, you have to fly all the time. How do you expect, and with any number of militant groups active in the Imphal valley, as well as some militant elements in the hills of Manipur, how can you take advantage of this actist policy? Calcutta has the port, but we don't have access to the sea. We thought we will bypass with Bangladesh and have a port in Sitwe across the border in Mizoram, but that is also not getting completed because of the situation in Myanmar. So now, what is the solution? How do you take the economy to the next level in Assam?
Yeah, that's a very, very big challenge actually. And the investments which are coming in definitely will help. But what you have said about actist policy is not only the amount of things which have the amount of leverage Assam has taken over the last few years is enormous. Prior to that, it was actually actist was working from Kolkata. Kolkata used to be the hub from where actually activists used to be looked at. But now I think at least we have this teething problem, of course. The Myanmar is a big problem. In fact, the entire world is in a very state of flux. There is a question of possibility of change of balance of power. Things are there. But then the civilizational linkages between Southeast Asia and India, especially through Northeast, this has been very, very aware of by the present dispensation, and there has been a lot of work done on that front. So in Assam especially, there has a lot of exchanges in terms of cultural troops and trying to build up a bridge, using those civilizational linkages.
Soft power diplomacy.
Soft power.
Yeah.
And regarding the insurgency and all, I think the government has shown its very strong messaging which went out after the strikes in the Alpha camps. I think I am very optimistic that this SBS 2 regime will be maybe a breakthrough will be there.
Okay.
To bring
Professor Bikas Tripathi
to the negotiating table.
Absolutely, Professor Bikas Tripathi. Do you think Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma in this present tenure? I'll ask this question to Colonel Divya Bhattacharya, Chandan, as well as Avinav. Do you think during his second term as Chief Minister, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma cannot just work only for the development of Assam? You have to get certain issues settled in the neighborhood as well. If you have to take Assam to a next level.
Of course, that's true, and the biggest challenge will be twofold. First is that the previous regime was much more focused on two aspects. One was the job creation aspect. So we were about, this was all about job seekers. So somehow you have to transform Assam from job seeker to job creators.
Yes.
And wherein I see the challenges would really be politics of freebie and the global disruption. You cannot imagine Act East policy getting smoother given the current geopolitical context, but I assume that the focus will be on making and transformation of Guwahati, wherein the focus should be on health, hospitality and education, because if you make Guwahati the center, at least there should be one center which can become a center of attraction for all other states, and through that you can initiate three policies that they should initiate. One is the politics of reorganization. Northeastern states needs to be reorganized. The problem in Nagaland, Manipur, it needs to be sorted out, and Assam has to play a key role. Second, interstate border dispute. Third, geographical connectedness. So if you see, a lot of people are coming to Mizoram, and for them Guwahati is a transit. So this connectedness is not only leading to geographical proximity but also cultural connectedness. So and what has happened is that geography has come closer, considering the fact that Assam is considered to be relatively peaceful and politically stable. So you have to build on that, and job, I think this tenure should focus on job creators, I suppose. Somehow entrepreneurship should be taken into consideration.
Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, by the way, has already said that in this term, last time he promised 1 lakh jobs, but he has given jobs to 1,65,000 youths. But this time he is promising 2 lakh jobs, and let's see how easy or difficult it becomes for him to implement this promise. Colonel Divya Bhattacharya, do you think Assam Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma has to work not just for Assam, if he has to take Assam to an all new level? He said that he wants to bring Assam to the top 5 states in the country. We are not Gujarat, we don't have a port, we are a landlocked place. We need to get access to the sea somehow or the other. One option is Bangladesh. Bangladesh absolutely a blow hot, blow cold relationship with India. We don't know, the Jamatis are creating havoc in that place. We have yet not really been able to cut that much of ice with the new Prime Minister. But the Sitwe port, which we thought that will allow us another access to the sea, that is also not there. Now, and Myanmar is in turmoil, and we cannot use the land route, the only link with ASEAN and India. Now, in this kind of a situation, do you think Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma would have to work hard, take the help of the External Affairs Ministry, because he cannot indulge in diplomacy himself, being a state chief minister? Do you think he has to really lobby hard to get things to smoothen up things in the neighborhood?
Absolutely. Today, we are a global village. What is happening in America affects us directly or indirectly. For example, the America and Iran war, it is affecting a household in Assam because of gas cylinders, for example. So we are affected. The second issue which will affect us is that there is a growing proximity between Pakistan and Bangladesh, and Pakistan is going to use Bangladesh. And in General Asim Munir's own words, he said that the next war is going to start from the east. So that shows that their intent is negative. And therefore, we have to be wary of that. Now, with this as a context, the challenges before Dr. Himanta Biswa is that internally he has been able to achieve peace and stability, as can be seen from this recent elections and from the performance in the last 5 years. But if we have to grow, we have to see that we have to become the fulcrum for Southeast Asia. Because if you see India as such and look at the land routes, on the west is Pakistan and Afghanistan. So there is no question of any expansion that side. And therefore, that leaves us on the north is the Himalayas, and on the east is Southeast Asia. So that is the place where we can actually expand, and using our cultural ties, we can grow forward. And therefore, Dr. Himanta Biswa, we have got our own Minister of State as the External Affairs Minister. So I think that proximity, that advantage must be taken advantage of, and we can make Guwahati as the regional hub for Southeast Asia. I am not even saying India, it is for Southeast Asia, including the countries of various countries.
Absolutely, and if you have to do that, that is not very difficult, because Guwahati is within 3 hours flying distance, 3 hours flying distance of all the big Asian tigers in the Southeast Asian neighborhood. Professor Chandan Sharma, you know, I mean, it is easy to say a lot of things, it is extremely difficult to implement, but Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma has been implementing things. Now, how do you grow? What are the sectors? See, when we talk about growing, we always talk about tourism that has limited the flow because of lack of access to the Southeast Asian neighborhood. There are no direct flights. There is a direct flight run by a foreign airline to Singapore and Bangkok. There are no other flights so far. Do you think the aerial route will be one of the main focus of Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, and now he is going to set up the VFS office where people can get their visas? Do you think it is necessary for him to have visa offices, bring visa offices to Guwahati, have set up a diplomatic enclave in Guwahati? Do you think these are some of the things that he should focus on now?
If we see since 1990, lots of states in South India, they started having their own para-diplomacy policies. They started having their own initiatives with other countries. So I think SBS can, in this next, in this particular dispensation, he can start his own policies from Guwahati itself, para-diplomacy. And I think that can give a new leverage to have new connectivity with Southeast Asia. As already being said by most of the panelists, that I think that Buddhist circuit in Northeast India.
And now we have got a very big airport.
Exactly, that big airport, that whole idea of a Buddhist circuit, not only in Assam, not only in Northeast India, with Bihar. I think this can be very much well packaged to get a new kind of connectivity with Southeast Asia. But one particular point, perhaps, in spite of that promise of 2 lakhs and something or the others, the most important part will be agriculture, because it's very difficult to give appointment by the government. The most important part will be how to increase household income. So without prioritizing the agricultural sector, perhaps that can be the only sector where there can be a good consolidation, new avenues can be created, new jobs can be created on that particular part.
But Abhinav, we still have single cropping. I'm coming to you, Zanal Saab. We still have single cropping. That is strange, isn't it? Because we hardly utilize our fields. We hardly utilize our croplands.
Yes, I think a major overhauling in the agricultural sector is required, and not only in terms of single cropping, but also if you look at irrigation, the irrigation facilities that we have is actually quite backward. So again, as I'm saying, a more multi-pronged focused approach is required for agriculture as well as for irrigation, and that is again one sector. Coming back to your larger question, I think, see, if we have to make the Northeast, especially Guwahati, the hub of South Asia or Southeast Asia, I think for Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, he'll have to leverage his linkages and relationships with the national political class. And I think compared to all other political leaders that we have, Dr. Sharma is actually well positioned to achieve some kind of a headway in that direction, because with a lot of leaders he has maintained excellent relationships, and I think he will be trying to leverage such kind of linkages that he has already. And again, when the kind of effort that the Assam government has also shown to invite the entire spectrum of political leaders from different states, I think again the idea is to maintain a kind of rapport that he can eventually use to leverage in the days to come for these kind of ends.
Absolutely. I'll have one last round of comments quickly from all my panelists before ending this discussion. Let me go first to General Kalita. General Saab, what are your thoughts? What do you think? How do you think this innings of Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, how is it going to be different, or how could it be different from his previous innings as Chief Minister? What do you think?
In the previous tenure, a lot of achievements have been made or have been done. Firstly, in the finances, as far as the state finances are concerned, it's in a quite healthy state if you compare it with the other states of our country. The fiscal deficit is manageable, it's within the acceptable limit. It's in fact lower than the national fiscal deficit of the union budget. And the own collection of internal revenues have also gone up. Peace and stability has been gained, and it has ensured developmental activities. But as a citizen of, as aspirations are changing, I think what marked last tenure was infrastructure creation and peace and stability, and this has to change to, with changing aspirations. I think we need to concentrate on improving the quality of life of people, deliverance of governance, and inclusive growth. Now the growth has to be inclusive. If you look at the per capita income of our Assam is much lower than the national per capita income. So that is an aspect we need to work on. We need to work on education sector. Even now, The dropout rate at the secondary level is about 17.5%, which is much higher than the national average. If you look at infant mortality rate and maternal mortality rate, these are also much higher as far as if you compare it with the other states are concerned. So I would say that we have to take governance to the next level and improve the deliverance.
Absolutely.
That should be the focus of the next government.
Absolutely. Dr. Rajiv Hendy, your take, final comments. How can we walk better? What can Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma do in this current innings?
I am very optimistic. I hope the peace talks with Paresh Barua will go forward, and maybe he will come to the talking table. That is one optimism that I have. Rest actually has already been stated. Health, education, they are of really very, very prime importance. Lot has been done, lot of infrastructure has been created. But actually, as I mentioned in my early comments, the GER rate, we are actually, near about Bihar, we are actually down below. So this we have to look at. I think the schemes which are there has to be scrutinized, and maybe if the schemes are playing a role in that, we have to look at that as well.
Okay.
And about agriculture, Samriddha Krishak has been the aim of the BJP, and they have it in the Sankalpa Patra also. This time it has been made, this Sankalpa Patra is a bit, improved version than earlier ones, thanks to maybe because of MLA Ranjit Das, and I think the other person is Dr. Ranus Pegu. They took the pains of making a really very good Sankalpa Patra. Even if the Sankalpa Patra is actually
so these are some of the focus.
These
can be some of the focus areas, Professor Vikas Tripathi, very briefly.
So first of all, let me say that what this election has, what HBS has really done at all India level, which is that till the rise of BJP, in 2014 we used to say that people are casting their vote, and then Modi came and we started talking that there are new voters in India. HBS has created civilizational voters, and which is a contribution for which he will always be remembered. Look at the way BJP fought elections at the eastern states. And if this politics of civilization has to culminate, it will really culminate into peace, progress and political integration, as you rightly pointed out, that the role is really not limited to the state of Assam, but largely to make Assam as the glue for political integration of the 8 states in Northeast India.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. That's a very good point Professor Vikas Tripathi has made. Final comment, Professor Chandan Sharma.
I think there have been tremendous achievement in the last 5 years. Personally, I hope that there will be more progress on this particular fronts, which we have discussed on education. Especially, they have established lots of universities, but the point will be to give more manpower and resources to do all this, make them more functional.
Yeah.
On health, and as I said, perhaps on rural distress. If this particular area, that rural persons, they don't have to migrate to southern states for some low-paid jobs. Perhaps that will be the most important contribution where he needs to look into around.
Absolutely, that's a very good point. Youths need not migrate to outside the region, particularly to the southern states, in search of low-paying jobs. That is what should be one of the priorities of Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma. That is what Professor Chandan Sharma said. Final comments, Abhinav Barbara, very briefly, very briefly.
See, the BJP-led NDA returned with a big mandate. What it means is two things. One, it meant a high level of satisfaction with the work that Dr. Sharma and his ministerial colleagues had done in the first term. And side by side, it also means a high level of expectation that people of Assam have from Dr. Sharma as Chief Minister for another term. Now, a big mandate was possible because a plethora of social groups had actually supported the NDA. What means is therefore that a lot of people belonging to different caste communities, social groups are now eyeing for the BJP to actually do something that would satisfy them. So the goal as well as the challenge for Dr. Sharma would be to evolve a delivery model that would be able to touch all this wide constituency that has actually brought them back to power.
Okay, what will be the delivery model? We'll have to last word, Colonel Dibya Bhattacharya.
Yes, I think these are the 5 focus areas which I
Very
feel
quickly.
for Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma. Firstly, we have to focus on Assam being a health, education and tourism, especially tea tourism. I would say that this has to be a focus area. Second has to be the creation of jobs. Third has to be the security. We have talked about infiltration. Fourth would be education. And the 5th focus area has to be to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor. That is inclusive, getting everyone included, and so that we have an inclusive economy.
Absolutely. Inclusive economy. Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma during his first innings have done a lot for the development of Assam. That is the reason why he has won this election in a thumping manner, why the people have voted absolutely, as I said, lock, stock and barrel for the BJP. BJP winning 82 seats on their own, up about 22 seats for the last 2 terms that it has been in power. Now, of course, the focus areas of Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, I'm sure he's not going to sit tight. He is not a man who is complacent, who is going to be complacent, but he has to focus on job creation, on agriculture and on stopping, as he said, outward migration of youths in search of low paying jobs. So how he creates jobs, that will be one of his biggest challenges. And of course, as I said, he will also have to focus on peace and stability and improving the scenario, improving the security situation in the neighborhood of Assam. And that some he can do in collaboration with his counterparts, but some, if it is the case of Bangladesh and Myanmar, he has to take the help of the of New Delhi, particularly the Ministry of External Affairs and the Prime Minister himself. And I'm sure he is going to look into all these things. On this note, I end this edition of Point of View. I thank all my esteemed panelists for participating in the discussions and the viewers for watching the show. Good night and goodbye.